All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Blue Jays franchise. Today we've got an AL East matchup featuring the Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays. It would be Charlie Morton on the mound. Off to a slow start on the season for the Rays, 0-3 with a 4 ERA through 22 innings pitched. He would be facing off against the former Japanese pitcher Shun Yamaguchi in 18 innings pitched with a 6.38 ERA. We take you top of the first inning as Yamaguchi gets Joey Wendell staring at that one. And then Tetsugo would be up here, and he would go right on down to that forkball. That's one of the most lethal pitches I've ever seen. You're going to see that in this game as Ji-Man Choi gets caught on that forkball. Just nobody could hit it. We're going to look at Austin Meadows, bottom of the fourth here. I mean, he can't get through that fastball. He just gets caught looking at this damn thing. Yamaguchi finished with 8 strikeouts in this game. There's another one, a Hunter Renfroe. It was truly masterful, but those were most of the highlights for the early game. The bats really couldn't get anything going until Reese McGuire came up. Now, our catcher took that one, hammered that one all the way out to right field into the seats. He would get himself a home run. That would be his 5th of the season. A pretty good one, and this would kind of be the sign of things to come for how this game was going to go. It was going to go from a classic pitcher's duel where for us, we would get like a guy on base, but we just couldn't drive him in, or we would hit things, but it would be, you know, like a line drive would go right to the outfielder. I mean, we just really couldn't get anything big going. Now, Tim Anderson on. The Rays traded Tyler Glasnow for him, which I thought was pretty interesting. I guess they wanted another shortstop / DH, but he would get on first with a 1-out single on a 3-1 count. Joey Wendell back up at the plate. He would ground that one into right field. He would get runners on first and second. Once again, only 1 out. And then Austin Meadows up at the plate, and he would send that one into right field, and they would send Anderson. They would have him round third and try for home as Grichuk's arm just couldn't make that throw. And the game would be tied in the bottom of the 6th. Now we're going to take over with Teoscar Hernandez. 0-for-2 on the day. He's kind of continued slumping here. He grounds that one to Willie Adams. However, Adams whiffs on the throw back to first, so Henderson is on for Travis Shaw. And oh my goodness, just get a good look at that thing. He's been shredding all season, and I mean, he just proves why he needs to start batting cleanup for us. His 7th home run of the season. He's been on an absolute tear, as I said, and he's just going to continue to do it. And you're going to see in this game not a lot of highlights from guys like Bo Bichette and Vladdy Jr., but more the Travis Shaws of the world. And I think that that's pretty interesting. And I think it's a good thing to show that some of the veterans are doing really well on this team as well, showing that we'll have less holes to patch. Now, speaking of holes to patch, wow, that was a bad pitch by me to Ji-Man Choi as he'll take that one, launch it over the fence for a home run. The Rays cut it down to a 1-run lead. I mean, that thing was a moonshot. That was just a terrible pitch by me. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. I think it was around that time that I noticed, like, oh, Yamaguchi's getting tired. I got to get him out of this game. And then I left that one hanging right over the middle part of the plate for him. However, going back to it, Willie Adams up at the dish, no outs, bottom of the 7th, and he would take that one, send it into the left field, and it would be a no-out double for him. And that was kind of where I was like, all right, look. Shun has had a great game so far, but you know what? It's time to get him out of here. Our bullpen hasn't been playing terribly this season. As you're going to see, we're going to bring in Anthony Bass, the guy we saw in the opening day episode. He has a .77 ERA on 11 innings pitched so far. 8 games of work so far, so I was pretty comfortable bringing him in. As you're going to see, Mike Zunino gets caught staring at that nasty slider. And then Oliver Drake would be on in the top of the 9th to try to kind of, you know, hold us to where we were. He has an 11 ERA through 4 innings pitched. So I was looking to maybe get something going off of him. Teoscar Hernandez stands in 0-for-3 on the day thus far. The only time he's reached has been on that error, but there he gets a break on the high cutter as he'll get a walk, and then Travis Shaw up at the plate again. He'll send that one into left center field. Now this time it won't be quite gone for a home run. However, it will score Hernandez and take Shaw into second and give us a 2-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning. As you can see, we're going to bring on Ken Giles to try to close this thing out. In 4 opportunities, gotten 3 save on a 1.9 ERA this season, so he's had a really good year for himself so far. And you know, 2 outs, 1-1 to Mike Zunino, the number 9 hitter, and he just cranks that thing out to left field. Yeah, that thing was gone. And the Rays deciding to make and keep things interesting here, as the top of the order will get started with Tim Anderson. And the thing with Tim Anderson is the guy's got like 93 contact versus right-handed pitchers. So right now I'm shaking. because I was already wondering if I was going to be able to hold this thing, and now Zunino's got that home run, you know, maybe that whole momentum and morale thing comes in, and here I am trying to get the payoff pitch to Anderson, and he sends that thing. It looks like it's going to be a blooper and right. However, Randall Grichuk saves us and ends this one. So the Blue Jays, they fight back, get to 500 in the month of August after a slow start. Shun Yamaguchi gets his first win of the year on a really good game. He had like 8 strikeouts, only 2 runs earned. I mean, he did really well. Charlie Morton for the Rays will fall to 0-4 despite being, I think, their highest rated pitcher, their ace, if you will. And this was a really good game for us. Travis Shaw proving why he's been so good this season. And Teoscar Hernandez kind of fighting his way to get on base, get out of this slump. Ken Giles pitched well despite me showing the home run. He's still a fine closer for us. Glad to have him on the roster. Anthony Bass also did really well in this game. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the monthly recap. All right, so as we start here, we are currently 18-16 on the season. You'll see the 2 series against Boston and the series against Baltimore. We had 2 really big back-to-back wins with an 11-1 and a 20-3 win over both Baltimore and Boston, and then we beat the Yankees twice. So I think right now we're entering the realm of almost overperforming, as you're going to see how many guys are on fire. Travis Shaw has continued shredding. Randall Grichuk has done really well. Bo Bichette is back to where he was and doing a little bit better. Kevon Biggio has really showed up this season. He's hit like 3 home runs as of late. Gurriel Jr. is one guy who I want to start performing a little bit better for us. And Vladdy Jr., I mean, it's just amazing. He's hit 4 home runs after starting out with like no home runs after our Rays series. So he's at like 4 home runs in the last 2 weeks. He's really coming along, hoping that this is a change and a sign of things to come for the remainder of the season. As far as the pitching is concerned, our starters are all doing really well. Our bullpen still could be better, to say the least. Matt Shoemaker is still having a fine season. His ERA is really high, but he's not as terrible as some of those stats may suggest. But, of course, there are most of the guys on our team, and then after Tanner Roark, it's just another tier. I mean, there's Yamaguchi, Anthony Bass, Tim Meza, and Hyun-Jin Ryu. These guys are really the guys who I want kind of being the backbone of our pitching staff, though I do know that Ryu and Yamaguchi are both pretty old. As far as the standings, I would still say we're overperforming right now, sitting at 2nd in the American League East. 5.5 games out of the lead, and we are 3.5 games out from the wild card, as the White Sox and Angels are kind of running away with those so far. I don't know if we'll be able to run back and take them, but hey, we have a series against a not very good Orioles team coming up. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. But other than that, that'll be it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think about it. Thank you for the support on the recent videos, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Adios.